What can make your art go wrong? A lot of artists, even the best ones, can have their bad days. It is not that they don't know how to draw or to paint anymore, but it is just a day where things went wrong and the result was awful. But is it still possible to salvage the work, or shall we start again? Sometimes yes, but sometimes it is better to let it rest and try our best to fix the mistakes. It is definitely the experience I had with this oil painting. By the way, if you are new to this channel, my name is Guylaine. I'm a French artist and I'm exploring on this channel all types of art mediums. I hope you will enjoy this new video. This oil painting was a real roller coaster of feelings. I went through disappointment, then effort and focus, then hope, and finally some kind of satisfaction at the end when I could see that my efforts were in a certain way rewarded. At the beginning, I had a clear mind of what I wanted to paint. A young man holding a gilded or golden goblet. And usually when it concerns oil painting, it is good to know what you are going to paint. I don't believe in some kind of inspiration for painting coming from nowhere. You need to think quite a long time before starting. All the elements were in my head, had some reference images, I was confident. I prepared my canvas properly and laid out my tools as usual. My first strokes were confident, but in spite of all, the painting went wrong. I will quickly show you the footage of the first phase of this painting so that you can better understand. The more I painted, the less confident I felt, and it is difficult to know why these wrong feelings crept into my mind. Probably life in general, the stress, the feeling of not having enough time for my art. I'm working, I'm not a full-time artist. And I'm not sure I want to be one day a full-time artist. I feel comfortable to have a job where I have a steady income. But on the flip side, I often feel that I don't have time for what I like the most, doing art. How to find balance? How to keep up with artists who can be in the studio all day long and improve? I think all these feelings and thoughts were coming into my mind while I was painting. I was not feeling bad, it was just that I felt overwhelmed and frustrated. This type of mindset for sure is not good for making art. You need to enjoy it, and I was starting to rush and not paying attention, even to keep my brushes clean enough between strokes. My mind was not there, and the face of my character was like blurred, as the color was muddy and did not make any sense. I definitely should have stopped painting earlier, but it was some of my only time where I could paint, and I felt that I shouldn't lose this time. But sometimes I think, as artists, we should learn to stop and also learn to accept these feelings. It is also useless to compare our hearts to others, or to compare our life to others. Everybody struggles, and I was still lucky to be in a position where I can make art. Please let me know if you sometimes feel the same about your art or your skills. So after 2 days, instead of trying to save what I painted, I decided to erase and remove the painting with some tissue and start over again. I used the same palette colors as the beginning of the video, but I threw away the previous tier of palette and used a new one. I also cleaned as much as I can my brushes, and I started with a clear mind. Also, I was finally grateful to have to go to work since it forced me to have social interactions and to focus on other things. I always feel when I worked and when I get back home that I feel excited to make art, that I'm looking forward to making art again, and I think to look forward to making art is the most important thing to make good art, at least for me. So this is one of the good things of having a job aside. If I have all the daytime in my hand to make art, would I procrastinate instead? Would I be diligent and make art all day? Not sure about it. So now let's talk about how I achieved this painting. I still wanted to go for a classic style. My goal at this moment is to oil paint in a traditional way, and I want to give these old-fashioned feelings to my paintings. A black solid background is always a good choice to give this type of feeling. The background is a mix of black and orange. As always, I'm working my background at the same time as I'm working my character. This time I really paid attention to separate my brushes between dark colors and light colors. Separate your brushing this way, avoid your color being muddy. My strokes are at the beginning quite big. My goal is to cover the surface as much as possible. Then I block the shadows and the light. Then I go into details with smaller brushes and just deposit the color next to each other to structure the form and build the color, especially for the skin and the goblet. My layers tend to be less heavy towards the end of the painting, not all the time, it really depends. I'm doing this to get some transparency between each layer. I do think it is one of the ways to give more volume and depth to your painting. To tell the truth, the goal was to give a lot of contrast, and initially I wanted the young man to be half in the darkness. So this is the result at this moment for the face. I'm quite happy now with the face, but the hand is not really good. I don't know, it's still flat, and I'm not working with a reference image for this hand, so sometimes I just look at my own hands and try to replicate the way the young man hold this cup, and also you see there is the skin is quite complex with the color, so I need more or less to mimic this skin complexion on the hand as well. And the cup also, I need to work on the cup, but I think it will be the last things I will do. And about the light, I'm quite happy with, I don't know, I wanted something more dark, and I wanted more contrast, but I think it was so difficult for this painting. I was not really in the right mind, I was not really focusing, so I think I will leave it this way. Maybe I can improve the color and the shadow, but let's leave it that way and try to continue and try to finish. So today is the next day, and I will mostly work on the hand. Maybe I will try to finish the portrait. So the hand is here, and finally I took a picture of myself holding a cup. I mean, a picture of my hand, and I will use it as a reference image to be able to get the correct position of the hand around this cup. So let's continue. So yes, I struggled quite a lot with this painting, and I decided to not experiment too much. I have all my time to improve, and I should not try to go too fast and build my oil painting skill little by little. After the first try was a complete disaster, I was already happy here with the expression of the young man. The hand was the most difficult part. It's really difficult to paint hands actually. The position especially. Instead of trying to paint with the light colors, I curved in the background, if it makes sense. I found it is sometimes easier to paint with the background than over the background. I tried at the end to give more contrast with some orangey tones to the face. Also, I hope I managed to recreate the gleaming effect of the golden goblet. To get this effect, I almost use the impasto technique, which are thick layers of white oil painting with some yellow. We are slowly arriving to the end. So what do you think about the result? I'm showing you this current result, but I might improve this painting later on if needed, since it's not dry and not varnished yet. What I learned with oil painting as well is it can take times to get your final result, since you always can improve until the varnishing phase. Even if it is not really what I wanted to paint initially, I was just happy to overcome my fears and frustration and be able to focus and to paint the way I like, to be able also to paint with enjoyment and only for myself. But what is a good artist after all? Even if you do the worst art, you try at least. And I think there will always be someone who will like it and admire that you create something, how small it can be. I hope you enjoyed this video and this little chat with me about the laws of an artist and how to get out of a rut when you feel a bit frustrated. If you have any advice to give me regarding my oil painting techniques or any questions, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, I would be grateful if you can like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you for the next video. Bye bye.